Hey everyone, Brett Wallace, your Fort Bend, Texas realtor. Wanted to talk to you today for a few moments about HOA dues, fees, assessments, especially concerning contracts and what HOA fees and dues are expected when you're selling your home and when buying a home. So first and foremost, we all know what HOAs are. They're homeowners associations. They are made up of members of your neighborhood and your community, and they are ran by a management company most of the time. Sometimes there are some HOAs that run it by themselves. That's cool. But most homeowners associations hire a company that does this professionally to manage things. So obviously you have HOA dues due yearly. They are more expensive places that man gates, a lot more common area maintenance, a lot, signage, waterfalls, all these cool things. Different communities have different HOA fees. So let's talk about when doing a contract, when buying a home or selling a home. So in Texas, which is where I practice real estate, there is a mandatory membership in a homeowners association form, and there's a few different paragraphs. So historically speaking, HOAs used to charge, $100, $200 to send out the deed restrictions and the covenants, the bylaws, and all this stuff, and they would literally chop down a small tree to get enough paper to print all of these rules and things on. So with the advent of the internets, they're online most of the time, or the title company has a PDF copy of it. So, the HOAs, they don't get as much money from sending somebody to a copy machine or to a Kinko's and printing off 300 pages and mailing it out somewhere, although some HOAs still send you a hard copy of them. So they're usually PDF files. So the HOAs don't generally make money from the subdivision information as much there. Now, when buying a condo, that's a lot different. There are owner occupancy standards that lenders require. There's insurance standards that are required that the lender needs to see on paper a lot of times. So the resale certificate is so much more important, and some of the other information is more important in dealing with condos than it is a single family residence and even a townhome. But for the most part, that's the beginning of the form, of the HOA form in Texas, and then it's going to go down to transfer fees. Transfer fees are kind of the most common. You see it on every list. What's a transfer fee? $150, $200, $250. That's basically just so the HOA can go on record with who the new homeowner is and, zero out the old homeowner's account. And it's basically the transfer of the property ownership to one owner to the next. So that's what a transfer fee is. And so, again, these HOAs are smart, and Al Capone would be proud of some of the straight gangster stuff that these guys do. Again, HOAs are good to have. They keep your community standards up, but on the other hand, it's like you can't help but think there's some greed going on. So there's something called the authorization paragraph, paragraph E in our forms in Texas, and it's the authorization. What it really means is a statement of accounts. So let's say you're closing on June 30th. That's halfway through the year. Let's say your HOA dues are $1,000. Okay? So the seller in January, let's say 2020, January of 2020, the seller gets a bill for $1,000. They're going to get it in December of 2019, but regardless, it's due in January. You pay ahead of time for HOA dues. Taxes you pay in arrears. That's a whole other story in another video. HOA dues you pay forward. So if I've paid $1,000 and I'm closing 6 months into the year, I sell my home on June 30th, I'm only responsible for half. I want half my money back. So the title company, the escrow officer, when they close you, they're going to give you $500 back. Well, in order to do that, they need to make sure that you actually paid your dues, right? It's like, I paid 2020. Stewart Title, go ahead and give me back $500, and you really didn't. Well, that doesn't happen. So the title company has to get a statement of accounts. So the HOA is like, we don't make money really much anymore from deed restrictions and mailing out covenants, bylaws, restrictions, and the big packet, right? So where else can we make money? Okay, you need a statement of accounts? Cool. We need $150. We need $200 to provide the title company a 1-page or 2-page document that says, hey, Mr. Seller, paid his, or Mrs. Seller, you know, these times we gotta be here. Mr. and Mrs. Seller paid their 2020 dues. They're caught up. They're not in arrears. They're paid for all of 2020. Oh, you want it on a rush? You need it in less than 5 days? That one page that we have a spreadsheet on anyway on our computer? Oh, give us a $100 rush fee and we'll get it to you in a day or two. Give us $200. Oh, you need a rush fee? Yeah. Anyway, any realtor title company, you talk to them and you can understand why I'm on a soapbox right now. I'm sorry. So that's generally where the monies come from in a contract, where the monies go with HOA, where that's related. So the authorization paragraph, that needs to be paid for before closing. So, you know, there's a box where it can be paid for by the buyer or seller. In my opinion, I think that HOA stuff should all just be split down the middle, you know, but obviously if you're giving someone top dollar and you ask them to pay for it, work it out. If you're lowballing somebody 5, 10, 15, 20 grand, hey, they might not want to pay for all the HOA dues, right? So, generally speaking, if everything else is equitable, it's 50-50, you know, all the negotiations have been nice and everybody, it's fair, you know. Maybe the seller pays the statement of accounts, $150, $200, and the buyer picks up the transfer fee, $150, $200, $250. You know, it's always negotiable. Talk to your realtor, talk to your family, talk to people that have bought and sold before, but just lean on your real estate agent. Let's not fight over a few $100s when hundreds of thousands of dollars, for the most part, are being exchanged here. But be aware of the charges. And one other thing that I'm seeing a lot of, and this is almost more of a developer fee or something that kind of even happened at the development, at the onset of the development, in the newer communities. In Texas, Johnson Development Corp is the biggest, the best, and it's worth it to be in one of their communities because they're the best. But they do have something called like a recapture fee, a community enhancement fee, a cap fee. There's all kinds of different, some of the HOAs will explain it as a rainy day fund for the actual community. And a lot of these developers and HOAs are charging either a flat fee or a 0.25% of the sales price. I've even seen a 1/3 of 1% of the sales price, which would mean if you're selling a $500,000 home, you know, 1% is $5,000, and then a third of that, 1,700 and change, whatever. You know, these are substantial fees that are going to be charged at the time of closing. A lot more communities are doing this. So ask your real estate agent, talk to the title company, find out if a community that you're interested in has these developer or cap fees, in addition to all of the HOA assessment fees and dues. The title company is going to have a really good handle on this because they close a lot of properties in that subdivision. But for the most part, you know, again, every deal is negotiable. It's different. I feel like it takes two to tango, buyer and seller. I don't think you should be penalized for selling here. I don't think you should be penalized for buying here. In my opinion, those developer fees, I always advise my clients, hey, let's not penalize any party to this deal. We're all, you know, buying and selling this community together. It takes two of us. Let's split it down the middle. But again, it's always negotiable, but it's not fun to find that out in the final week or two of closing that, hey, there's a $1,700 charge on the books that somebody's got to pay for. And it's just good to get out ahead of that before you get under contract, so everybody's expectations are managed properly. So that's my spiel on HOA, closing dues, assessments, fees, and all that fun stuff. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please click like, subscribe to my channel if you want anything addressed, anything under the sun, real estate, home related, new homes, building, anything related like that. Message me. You can go on my website, brettwallace.com. My contact info's on there. Please feel free to contact me 24/7.